So next we're going to do a bowline knot, but a bowline on a coil. And so it's a rescue utility knot, and it's a nice variation of this knot for tending a Stokes basket. And so a prime example I can think of, and I'm sure there's several others, but in a low angle rescue operation, like if we've got some firemen that are carrying a basket, carrying a victim up a sloped hill, maybe it's not super high angle, but it's sloped just enough that it's kind of slippery under their feet. We're going to want to tend this basket to make sure that if a fireman falls and they end up slipping and possibly even dropping the Stokes basket to the ground or falling with the basket to the ground, that we've got a safety rope on this with a bowline on a coil on this end, and then on the top of the hill we'd have another fireman there that's tending with a munter's hitch through a large carabiner to make sure that we're keeping the slack out of that rope as progress is being made up the hill. So, bowline on a coil. We're going to start by connecting to our basket. So we take our trailing end, we're going to go around an anchor point on the basket. We're going to get the trash out of our way. We're going to make a loop here in the middle, a bite here in the middle, and then we're going to go around the second anchor point on our basket on the other side. And we'll pull this out here and just lay it on the ground nice and clean so that you can see what's going on. All right, now we're going to take our running end and we're going to make a loop. The same as we've made a loop in many of the other knots that have been shown, but we're going to take our left hand, we're going to scoop that running end, we're going to make the OK sign, and we're going to wrap 3 fingers to make a loop. But now, most of those knots, we're either taking that loop and we're turning it horizontal or we're turning that loop up. In this case, we want to take that loop, grab it with our right hand, and we want to turn that loop under. So that's an important step in this knot. So I'm going to do that again. Scoop with our left hand, wrap 3, grab it with our right hand, and turn that loop under. So now we've oriented that loop properly in our right hand. So now in the right hand, we take that and we go under the bite and stick your wrist right up under that bite. Now with our left hand, we're going to go through this loop and we're going to come back and grab the running end with our left hand. See that? Grab that running end and pull a loop through that previous loop. Now that this is done, we're going to hold this new loop with our right hand, take our tail off the basket, and our tail goes through that loop. And let's pull that tail through so that we've got plenty of excess there. So now, if I leave it all laying here on the ground, it looks like a little bit of a mess. But then something kind of magical happens when I grab the running end and I give it some tension. So if you watch here real close, as I tension this up, it's going to pull tight and it's going to flop over on itself and it's going to become a bowline. So now that bowline on coil, and the other nice thing about this bowline is it has one strand that runs clear through the bowline and it's adjustable. So if I want to pull that basket at a little bit of an off angle, one side or another, I can do that, or I can make sure that it's nice and centered. And then of course, same as any bowline, I want to take my tail and I want to do a single overhand safety. So I'm going to take the end that's coming through the knot, hold that with my left hand, wrap around the finger, back side, and my finger points the way out. So there is my safety on my bowline on a coil so that I can tend the basket.